Alright, hi, I'm Andrew Dickerson. I don't know if you guys remember me, but today I'm doing my final presentation for a C150 class. My dad is running the camera. I chose to do my speech on as a demonstration speech on how to do a pre-flight inspection on a small plane, and I'm going to show how to correctly start a Cessna 150, which is this plane right here. Because of coronavirus and stuff, it's messed up a lot of stuff, but I'm able to actually demonstrate on a real plane, whereas at Glen Oaks I wouldn't be able to bring a real plane, so that's kind of nice. So now I'm gonna actually start it. For a basic pre-flight, we have this book here. It's from 1967. It's really old, well, for a book, and it kind of gives a basic pre-flight, so I'm going to go over that a little bit, and then just some other stuff also. So the first thing I'm going to do here is you turn on the master switch, which is the electricity. So that's this switch right here. And when we do that, we turn on, it's called the pitot heat, which I'll show you that in a second. It's right there, and I'm gonna also lower the flaps. All right there. So it says in here to check the fuel gauges, which right here they're saying they're full, but fuel gauges on planes can be really inaccurate sometimes. And so there's another way to check that, and I'm also going to show you that. So now I can turn off the pitot heat. Well, yeah. So now if we come over here, this is called the pitot right here, and it's a intake source for air that runs some of the instruments to show you stuff, but it's heated so it can't get iced over when you're flying, so you make sure it's kind of warm. So that's what you do there. Another intake source for air is called the static intake source. This is called ram air because the air is rammed down it, and this is static. The air just kind of comes down there. So another way to check for fuel quantity is to take this thing right here. It's just a big plastic straw. If you get up here, you probably can't see, but you take off the fuel cap right here. You stick this in here, put your finger over it, pull it out, and you can see how much fuel is in there. So that's how you check for fuel quantity. All right, put that back on there. I'm gonna leave that here. Another thing we do is called sumping the fuel. You come right here. This is, oh, I can leave that open. This is to check for water in your fuel. If you put this here, it drains some of the fuel into this. And if you look at it, our fuel's really good right now. Water droplets will be right there at the bottom, so that's how you check for water in your fuel. When you're done with it, you just can't throw it on the ground. So we lowered these are called the flaps. So when we check these, we check the traps for cracks. There are none right here, so that's all good. Then we're gonna move along. I'm gonna put this down to the ailerons, which we just lift up. There are 3 hinges right here and right here, and another down there. This right here, you should have a little wiggle in it, so you check that for a wiggle. And there are 3 counterbalance weights, so that's other things we check. And then, so kind of when you're doing one of these, you just work your way around the airplane. So if you come back here, you want to make sure everything moves freely, and then you check all the hinges and everything. When you come to the rudder of the plane, you check the bolts, the nuts and bolts, to make sure they're all in there. You check the bolts here, make sure everything's secure. You make sure nothing's cracked on your back here. This moves freely also. You want to make sure this hinge is good. So then on this side of the plane, you do the same thing you do on the other side of the plane, so I'm not going to go over that again. When you're down by the wheels, you can check the actual brake pads, make sure they're good. You want to make sure the brake line is good. So that's this along here. You want to make sure the tires are inflated properly. So that's that. All right. So then we come over to here. We have the rag. So when we check the oil, it's this yellow cap right here. You want to take it out, clean it off, you dip it back in, and pull it out. See where the oil level is. And I believe the book says you should not fly unless it's above 4, and we're about 5.5 right now, so that's good.
Below 4.
Or, oh yeah, if you're below 4, you should not fly. So we're at 5.5, so that's all good. So we put that back on. Oh, I gotta grab this. Another way to check the fuel for water is right here. There's a fuel drainer, and it comes out right here. So you put the same thing we used earlier, pull some of the fuel, and you check right there. Once again, you can see there's no water, so we just throw that on the ground there. As you come around the front, you're gonna check the propeller for any nicks along the propeller. You can just feel for them. And the book also says to check for security, so as long as it's on there. All right, so now that we checked the propeller, we go on check the carburetor intake air filter. So, and make sure there's nothing blocking it or in the way, so that's good right here. Then you go to your tires, make sure your front tire is inflated properly. And on this strut here, for this plane, it varies from plane to plane. There should be 4 finger widths of strut at least, and there is more than that. So that's all good. So now that the pre-flight is done, I can get in the plane, I can show you how to start it. So it's kind of a smaller plane, and it can be hard to get in. So what you do here is first you're gonna push in your, it's called the mixture, which is hard, it's the air fuel mixture, so you just push that in all the way. This has a primer right here. You pull it out, push it back in, primes the plane. The throttle, which is this right here, you're gonna want it pushed in about 1/4 of an inch right there. So then you pull the master on, the master electricity like I showed you earlier. Turn that on. These are called the magnetos. You turn both of those on, and then you can pull the starter.